Just real quickly, when I'm talking to people who are getting ready to sell, one of the things that I feel is really important for them to understand is the game they're about to get into. And one of the things that is really surprising about how people buy here, particularly second home purchases, is that they do not give nearly as much time to that effort as you would think that they would, given the value of the property that they're looking at. As showing brokers, selling brokers, we're lucky if we have more than an afternoon with somebody who's getting ready to buy real estate. Because we're competing with tennis and golf and hiking and in the wintertime skiing and all those things. And the prospective buyer, the visitor, is probably just here for a week. So I've got one afternoon to spend with them. And most people cannot see more than 6, 7, 8 properties without getting completely overwhelmed. I mean, there are a few people who can take in more than that, but 6, 7, 8 is about it. Nextly, the buyers probably do not know the area nearly as well as we do who live here. They don't even know the neighborhoods asked to look at. So if, as showing brokers, we have to also educate potential buyers about what their options are, then I have to take that into account. So if one is a seller, if I, as a broker, and I realize I only got 2 or 3 hours to spend with my buyers, they don't know the market very well, I'm going to have to educate them along the way. And I may have to choose a house here, a house there, a house here, a house there. And then I've got to decide among all, especially when I've got an inventory of, dozens of properties to choose from, I'm going to want to choose a house or a condominium that I think in that neighborhood that I think represents value, that will show really well, and will keep that buyer's interest up and get excited. And if I'm leaving this neighborhood and going to another neighborhood, I'm going to pick another one. So I'm looking at, 25, 50, 100 pieces of property, and I can only choose 6 or 7, then you, as a seller, you want to be the one that's on that short list. It doesn't help that you're in the game. You have to be the one that is chosen out of that group. So if you're going to be a seller, you have to go into it knowing that in my particular neighborhood, in my particular category, I need to be compelling. And speaking to that, if you don't need to sell right now, this is not the time to be on the market just to test it. We have so much on our market right now that is owned by people who don't really care whether they sell it or not, particularly people who have owned these properties for a long time. They have a lot of equity in it, and if they can get their money, great. If they can't, they'll just continue to enjoy the asset until the market comes back to them. So if we could just take out a lot of those listings, our inventory would look much thinner, and the dynamics of the market would change dramatically. So if you're not really in it to be serious and do what it takes to be in the game, you shouldn't be in it. This little fast fact that Andrew came up with I thought was really interesting, that we have so much inventory that's still listed at the price it started at. There are clearly people who are not accommodating the current market conditions. Again, speaking to my first point, if you aren't priced appropriately, you may receive offers that are really discounted, or more likely you're not going to get them at all. You're not even going to get the showings that will generate the offer. The whole point of being on the market is to be shown. If you're not shown, no offer. So make sure you work with your broker really carefully, really well. Know how you stack up against your potential competition. And if you want to be a seller, be the most compelling in your group. That is not to say that everything's negative as if you're a seller. There certainly is an opportunity for you if you've got an appropriately priced property, or you have something that's really unique that's not likely to be easily duplicated. Be prepared. And this means you've got to take your homeowner's hat off, put it in the moving box, and put on your home seller's hat. And that means before you even put your property on the market, get it clean, get all the clutter put away, get rid of all the tchotchkes, all the personal photographs, all your collections and so forth, and put your house in a condition that I would call model home. Developers have model homes for a reason, because they sell. And if you're not willing to do that, then you really are not going to make that short list that the brokers are looking at when they make their decisions about what they're going to show their people. This is the single most important thing to do. And we like to say in our office that when you put your property on the market, it's like a float in the parade. It's only going to go by the crowd once. So when it comes on, it better be totally pulled together. because that's the first impression that you're leaving with a real estate community who's seeing it and deciding where it fits amongst all its competition. The next thing we highly recommend that you do is to get everything done in advance you can anticipate a buyer is going to want to do that could possibly hang up your transaction. Contracts fall out almost always over due diligence, inspection issues, or survey issues, many of which could have been handled up front by the seller before they even put their property on the market. So we encourage you to have all your deferred maintenance handled, have your house pre-inspected by one of the building inspection services that a buyer will use, look at the things that he has come up with, and get them fixed. In this kind of marketplace, buyers are not going to be happy with you saying, take it or leave it. Take it as is. They'll be on to the next thing. You have to show that buyer respect by having your house pulled together and clean, repaired. If you've got a well, get it tested. If you have a septic system, get it cleaned. If you have a fireplace, get it cleaned. So deliver that property to your buyer in as perfect a condition as you can, and I guarantee that once it goes under contract, it will go much smoothly. I'm done. I got ahead of myself. We have